Hi, I'm Dr. Tommy. I help people solve the problems caused by being themselves. Welcome to the first episode of Decoding Polarization. If you haven't already watched the two foundation videos, Meet Dr. Tommy and What is Opposite Strengths, I suggest you watch those first, as those will give you an understanding of the lens that I will use to decode weird behavior that people show in public. Um, so, this week it's about Will Smith. Uh, Chris Rock was doing a great job of providing humor and introducing presenters and making sure the awards went out on the Oscar stage when, seemingly out of the blue, Will Smith walked upon stage and slapped him in front of hundreds of millions of people. Well, this is not behavior that we expect out of Will Smith, really anybody on such a stage, but especially Will Smith. He's such an affable guy and likable, and just seemed like he's emotionally grounded. But there he was, and slapping Chris Rock right there in front of everybody. So why did he do that? Well, I'm going to use the lens of opposite strengths to decode that behavior. So you know that we have three pairs of strengths: thinking and risking, practical thinking and theoretical thinking, and dependent risking and independent risking. And what causes weird behavior is when people get polarized on one or more of those strengths. They don't use them in the measured way that they should and feed into the other and keep the process going. They get stuck on a particular strength. So what happened to Will Smith when he heard that joke that Chris Rock told about Jada Smith, Will's wife? Will didn't really see the humor in it. He saw it and experienced it as a slight toward his wife, an insult to her. And so his dependent risking strength, which is where our concern for others and taking care of others and empathizing with others comes from, immediately spiked. And he just wanted to go into protective mode of his wife. And that polarization on dependent risking triggered a polarization on the risking strength. So the risking strength is our dynamic, active, moving strength, and it is paired with thinking, which is our analytical, patient strength. So when the dependent risking strength got triggered, it triggered the risking strength, and Will Smith just immediately moved into action to protect his wife. And that is why he just jumped up on stage and slapped Chris Rock. He wasn't thinking about it, he was reacting to it, and his motive, you can look at it as being honorable. He wanted to protect his wife. But the fact that he was polarized, he didn't carry it out. He didn't carry it out in the right way. And as you can see, as we saw in the aftermath, he paid a pretty severe price. He went at full apology mode and was pretty embarrassed, and that caused him a lot of problems. I suppose that caused him some business, maybe some roles. I don't know. But anyway, that's what can happen. So we've all been there. We've been in situations where all of a sudden we've just wanted to protect somebody or move into a particular action without thinking about it, and it's had disastrous consequences. So his behavior is not isolated. It was surprising and inappropriate, and he realized that later, as all of us often do when we get polarized on a particular strength. So the lesson in this is that when you recognize that your risking strength gets triggered to move you into action without enough thought and without enough planning, that you ought to pay attention to that and move into that thinking strength and analyze a bit further before you move into action. Is your planned action, is your contemplated action actually going to get you the results you want in the way that you want it? So that is decoding polarization for Will Smith. Now, next week I'm going to talk about an iconic rock and roll star, a a star who we think of as being very grounded and so talented, and has his career has spanned the years from Nirvana to Foo Fighters. It's Dave Grohl. And we're going to look at a surprising action that he took in public as well that was out of character and decode it. So I will see you next week on here on Decoding Polarization. I'm Dr. Tommy. Let's keep making sense of what doesn't make sense.